I did trace mine back to, and we believe that it's from the Moderna vaccine. I was mandated to get the vaccine.
Welcome to the Elite Few podcast, where we explore the fabulous, extraordinary world of the people who move the needle of success. Join our host Tiffany and producer Kyle as we dive into the stories and insights of the elite few who are making a difference and pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Let's get started.
Welcome, everybody, to the Elite Few podcast. I'm your producer and co-host, Kyle Goodnight, here with my host, Tiffany Feeney. That's right. And today's show, we have Stevie Rowling on again, talking about a different situation that she's in, that she's a rare disease to kind of go along with our rare disease from before and our guests from before. So, we all know that Stevie Rowling was on before talking about her being deaf her whole life and some of the legal struggles that she's had and whatnot. So this is a totally different situation. She's going to explain some very rare medical situations, and I'm going to let Tiffany introduce it because they have really connected in that area, and we'll go on with our show. Tiffany, go ahead and introduce Stevie again and why we're interviewing her again about something else.
Okay, so we're here with Stevie talking about CRPS. It is a rare disease, like Kyle said, and ironically enough, she didn't always have this. This kind of came up out of nowhere and progressed. And when I met her, this wasn't happening, but it was there. We just didn't know it because it wasn't severe yet. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't affecting her at this level. And then how many months ago did it start just hitting you really hard?
We're in month 8.
We're in month 8. Okay. So we're going to talk about what CRPS is, what you can do. There's a Facebook group, several of them that do that and that go over it. We'll give you more details. There's a link we were going to put below so you'll understand it a little bit more. Extremely rare though. So rare that most MDs, doctors, people don't know about it. It's not like they have to really look into it. So you have to get a specialist that knows. If there is an MD or doctor that tries to say, well, I'm going to figure it out as we go, just walk out of that office because we aren't guinea pigs and they don't need to figure it out. You need to go to somebody who actually is an expert in this area, as Stevie ran into. So where were you? How did you come about the diagnosis? Because we have your feet get affected, your arms. We had some very serious issues with you being violently sick. It's sometimes it feels like your skin is on pins and needles, right?
So, well, let me tell you first of all,
yes.
CRPS stands for Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. So it affects about 100,000 people a year. It's a neurological disorder, and it is also known as the suicide disease. The amount of excruciating pain that we go through on a daily basis is so intense that I've seen on one of my groups 3 suicide letters in the past month. So it's just a way out of pain.
Now, Stevie did tell me she wasn't going to kill herself, but you definitely got there.
I did. It took me.
You were praying for a while if this couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this did, and this is a good mental health moment.
Yes.
This took me to a very, very dark place, a place that I had never been to before. I'm a therapist. I have my master's degrees in social work, and I had a plan. I knew exactly what, when, and how. I told my husband and the girls that my body would never be found. Jeff had his eyes on me like no tomorrow. And I finally got on anti-anxiety and antidepressants, which have drastically helped. I'm not in that dark place, but let me tell you, being in that dark place was very scary. It was very scary for me. I deal with people who are suicidal all the time. And for me to get to that point was absolutely terrifying. So I'm glad I'm not there now.
Yeah. I remember talking to you. It was so horrible. And the amount of pain you were in was awful to watch you go through. And there was nothing it's just enough.
So are you able to explain to us a little bit more about I know you said neurological, but like, do you have any specific like explanation? Has anybody given you an explanation? I know it randomly hit you during the day. We've been here for about 4 or 5 hours, and when we walked in, I was like, man, you look great. Because I've seen some pictures of you that you sent me that your foot was black, literally black, or your hands were black. And then all of a sudden we're sitting here, you're over on the mantle, and you're like, look, Kyle, foot's going black. And I was like, like in front of my eyes within a 30-minute window that we came here, and you look great. And then all of a sudden your foot's turning black.
Were starting to bother her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it started in my left foot from midfoot forward. Mm-hmm. And it was swollen, which it's still, unfortunately, it is still swollen. But I thought I had fractured it. So I work at the hospital. I worked at the hospital. I'm no longer working because of this disease. It's just consumed my body. But they did x-rays and they said they found nothing wrong, but they're like, your foot doesn't look good. We need to send you to a podiatrist. So I went to him, and he immediately, because when the limbs are cold to the touch, but it literally feels like someone started a fire and put my feet in there. Now my hands feel like I'm being eaten alive by fire ants. So it's a little bit of a different feeling on these limbs than these limbs. We don't know why. But anyway, so it was just midfoot forward, and he immediately said CRPS. It went right over my head, didn't know what that term was. Mm. But he sent me for an MRI. It came back just with some arthritis and bursitis. And then I went to the neurologist. Actually, a friend of mine went with me. Yeah. Again, it's still, midfoot forward. And the neurologist said, I don't really need to do anything, but you're here. I'm going to go ahead and do the testing. You have CRPS. And I'm still like, what is CRPS? What is that? And my foot literally turned so black with my friend there that they had to escort her out of the room because she got ill and thought she was going to pass out. So she had to leave the room, and they actually took the temperature of my foot. It was 63 degrees. So they had to do a heater on my foot, and before they could do any neurological testing.
So does this neurological issue, does it shut down the blood flow and that's why it turns black, or does it restrict the blood flow? Like, have they explained to you what's going on physiologically yet?
Because there's just not enough known about this disease. It's so rare and very few people know. I will tell you, I've been to, I think, 9 doctors now, and all of them have never seen the progression like I have, but they have seen CRPS, but not a whole lot of cases. And I'm by far the most complex patient that they've ever seen.
You're at the end stages.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went from 0 to 60. So it spread up through and all the way up the left side of my body, all the way down my arm. Like it's like electrical shock pains. And like right now, my pain level is a 6. That's low for me.
Yeah.
If I were,
it is.
I use a cane, and now I also have a wheelchair now, unfortunately. Then it spread to my right foot, and that goes midway up my calf. Now my right hand goes up to here when it models. And then I started having, and
the raindrops. You got those giant welts from rain.
I got blisters.
Yes.
I got caught in a harsh.
It wasn't hail. Acid rain? No, I'm like that doesn't make any sense, medically.
And this disease doesn't make sense. Like, I'm learning so much every day, and it's just I don't sleep at night. It's affecting my whole digestive system now. I have vomiting, and it's not your normal vomiting. Like, everybody goes, oh, well, you vomit once and you're done. No. We're talking 3 to 5 hours of severe vomiting, laying on the floor. Nobody can touch me. Jeff will sit on the floor with me and tap my mouth as I vomit. And my body is and it's because of the pain. I also have a lot of diarrhea now. Again, part of the CRPS. I'm having a lot, and this always bothers me because it goes back to my ear. But in my right ear, I'm having sharp shooting pains if I turn my head too quickly. So it just textures are a huge thing. Sometimes I have to change my clothes 3 or 4 times a day because my clothes will start hurting.
So I know that when I had shingles, I had that same sensation. And I know that shingles is a neurological issue. Is it tied to shingles or a virus that you have that is now stuck in your body or it's been dormant in your body?
They have never, ever said that. So I did trace mine back to, and we believe that it's from the Moderna vaccine. I was mandated to get the vaccine. Well, I long-term care at this time, but yeah, medical social work. However, my employer would not give me the shot because I have so many allergies. So they sent me somewhere else. So mistake number 1. So then I end up at Walmart. Pharmacist comes out. She's like, this makes me uncomfortable. And I said, then don't do it and just write me a note. She went back and talked to the other pharmacist. They him-hawed back and forth. I'm watching them. They decided to give me the shot, but they want me to stay there for 3 hours. Everybody else is 15 minutes. I'm 3 hours sitting at Walmart going, are you flipping kidding me? And they want their eyes on me. So I'm deathly ill for 3 days. I have vomiting, sweats, high fever, chills, body aches.
3 days. Yeah, because
and I still have tremors. I started having very, very faint tremors after that shot. Didn't think 2 cents about it at the time. My mom has Parkinson's. My brother has essential tremors. I was like, okay, family genetics, something's going on that's not agreeing with me. After the second shot, again, they won't do it at work. They send me back to Walmart. They question it again. And I'm thinking, you gave me the first one, but they gave it to me. I started what I thought was vertigo. And I didn't know for almost a year that it wasn't vertigo. It was neurological. So that was the start of it. And the saddest thing is the sooner you get diagnosed, the sooner and the better the treatment is for you. And so if they would have found this right after the Moderna shot, I could.
So was there any documentation from any of the early studies on this that this could have been a side effect? Because we did have a list of side effects from the different shots that were administered. Was this any of them that hit the radar?
No, but I did find 2 other women that are diagnosed with CRPS after the vaccine.
Specifically the Moderna vaccine?
I don't know. I don't know.
You need to start a database.
We need a lawyer.
Yeah.
If we knew one. So, sorry.
Her daughter's a lawyer.
We'll take the laughs out. We'll cut that. For these episodes, people are going to think I'm sadistic. But so I watched your progress. We went on that cruise together in July. So what has come up with the THC? Because it worked good on the cruise. She was wheeled on in a wheelchair, and we were worried, but we're still going to go, right? I mean, she's an amazing gambler. She gets free cruises like, I don't know, left and right. She's just like, oh, we got to go on a cruise again, Tiffany. We got to go to the Hard Rock Hotel. We got to go. We still have to go to Tampa or Fort Lauderdale. I don't know where we got to go. And all the time there's someone, she tried to teach me to gamble on the cruise. You and Lainey, right? The other, I think her name was Lainey. I have her name. Yeah. They were trying. I lost $1,300 or something. Like it was.
Oh my gosh! I you should have just given it to me.
75. Can we look at the balance? All right. But they're just like, just push the button. No, I was not good at it. So we went on the cruise, and she's still pushing through life regardless of what's going on. She's making it happen. She's not just sitting at home. She's not just doing nothing. She's doing her videos. She's getting things done. She's doing a lot. But when we watched her progress, and the THC helped a little bit, when have you noticed it stopped working?
So I'm still taking it.
Right.
And it will help take down the edge for like about an hour.
Okay.
And then what I find myself doing though, I find myself, and I cannot put weight on the ball of my left foot.
Oh,
still,
so
and shoes are a big issue for me.
Yes.
Wearing shoes is just horrid.
Yeah.
But I lost my train of thought. Just being honest.
Actually cut that, and then we can. Well, it could just be our age, but
I know, right?
I don't know. Some days. I walk in this room. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shoes are an issue. My foot has never not been swollen. My left foot.
Yeah.
We don't expect it to go down. And I have tried a lot. I've tried ketamine. I've had systematic nerve blocks, lots of different medications, acupuncture now.
Is the acupuncture helping you at all?
It's hard to say because it took my pain level down within 5 minutes. Like both of my hands were totally black. Both of my feet were black. This was black all the way up to where you know, depending on what.
When it gets ice cold.
Huh?
To you, it's burning on fire, but when I touch it, it's ice cold.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through this whole thing with her on several occasions. It's not light of heart, and it is hard, and she can't move her foot, and sometimes just that moment, the striking pain is unbearable. Yeah.
So, it just, the acupuncturist, I ended up with 5 needles that were in each ear, and I came home with those, and they didn't hurt.
Took down the pain a little bit.
It took it from an 8 to a 5. My tremors went way down. Sometimes my tremors are like, I'm like, I can't even hold my coffee. And Jeff is getting me a straw to drink it. They're good right now. I had a gummy not too long ago, so that really helps.
I like the tincture oil. I'm just partial to that in general because it takes away the joint pain, the swelling, and all this other stuff. I think that's why I originally said you should try it.
And it did help.
It did help.
It's gone.
Yeah. The thing that really worried me about you is the progression from July until August into September. It moved so fast, and you were still continuing to seek treatment. I don't even know if people can really understand that the level of what we're looking at in these rare diseases, when it is this rare, there are only so many places you can go. There's only so many services you can find, and it's expensive.
It's very expensive. It's out of pocket.
A ridiculous amount of money. I mean, thousands, tens of thousands, just trying to find a solution. And it is because not everything's covered by insurance. I don't know if we covered this yet on the show, but we've talked about how I have spent a ton of money healing and going through things out of pocket because none of it's covered by insurance. So when you're going to fix rare things or you want to fix something fast, you have to really push out there. There's a place in Colorado you and I were talking about looking at. Yes.
Yeah. The sulfur springs, natural sulfur springs, because it takes the toxins out of your body. I was looking at that trip, a very expensive trip. I do have some friends that are doing fundraisers for me. I have a lot of support.
There's a GoFundMe app, guys. The link is down there below on this YouTube thing. There's a GoFundMe app for Stevie. So this is literally to help her with the CRPS and the payments of whatever's going on. She tried to go back to work for a little while.
I did. I went back. I was bound and determined to not let this disease
you were.
control my life. Yeah. So I begged my doctor to let me go back. I got paid for 40 hours. I did not work 40 hours. It was absolutely horrible. That's when my hands started modeling. Just things really progressed extensively that week. But I'm in a very stressful job too. And stress can make the symptoms worse. So that week was definitely a hellish week. And
so and there's so much that can be done, but going to this Colorado thing is something great. And I've been looking for some grants and trying to find some grants to get something for them, because I know there's so much out there, right? There's billions, you know this, well, every job you've done, that there's billions of dollars of unused grants for so much. And especially when it comes for disabilities, rare diseases, I don't know, I could keep naming things. This is a benefit in this century that we're women to get a grant. It's finally happened that it benefits us. So we are finally in history where it's not a good time. I mean, not so great for Kyle. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Really bad time to be a middle-aged white man who's a Christian. So good luck.
That's okay. I am who I am. I can't change it. So,
but anyway, no comments about us laughing. That was all funny. So we go in, but we really have been looking at it. We think it's good. We're trying to figure it out, and we're trying to go through it. But I realized that the key factors with this situation and what it's linked back to, and we know it's neurological, but it's just hitting in a different way. And it's just something that, like, how far did you have to find your first doctor that actually knew what they were talking about? It took a minute.
Well, for me, it didn't take that long because I was mottled. My foot was cold.
Well, you had that one doctor that knew, but then didn't know enough about it. She just wanted to keep you so she could learn about it. And you're like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of doctors fire me. They just don't know enough about this disease and don't know where to go next.
Yes.
So I'm finding that I begged my PCP to continue my care. His name's Dr. Angelino. He is a DO and absolutely amazing. He does not know a whole lot about.
DOs are great. I love DOs.
He does not know a whole lot about this disease, but he is learning with me. So, and he's willing to speak at the fundraiser that's going to come up in January. Yeah. So he'll be there. It's different for everyone. I read stories all day in my groups. There's not a whole lot of people that are advanced as my disease is. There's a lot of people in earlier stages who are talking about amputation, saying, I don't get out of bed anymore. And I'm thinking,
at least
I have to,
not at all.
No,
God, not at all.
Yeah. If y'all know me, I get out of bed every day. I take a lot of naps when you're in chronic pain. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
So I sleep more than the average person, but I don't sleep long. Like I don't sleep through the night because I wake up in pain and then I'm up for a few hours and then I doze back, and that's an all night thing for me.
So I really believe that there's a lot, to go with all the rare diseases. Everyone I'm talking to that has one is struggling to find that connection of healing. And I know there's several options out there and they're expensive. And I think it's because it's so rare, right? Mm-hmm. And we're finding more and more stuff that works. But the problem I think with THC in general is that you use it for so long and you have to stop for like 30 days to get your receptors. You know about that, right, Kyle? No? Okay. No. So you use it for so long, you have to stop for like 30 days because it kind of trains the receptors to go a certain way and you need that to stop. There's way more description than what I'm saying, but you need a break from it for it to keep working. Mm-hmm. So the reality is you don't have a lot of continual situations that can help this. And when it really hits you and you're sick and you're throwing up and you can't move and you're dizzy and your foot is both your feet aren't working, there's not a lot you can do to just fix it. Mm-mm. Yeah. There's not pain pills you can take because they're not going to work.
No.
Yeah.
So there's absolutely no cure. And I think that's the reason that insurance won't cover things. They want to cover things that there's a cure for, diseases that they know about. And there's just not enough known about this disease for an insurance company to go, okay. So one of the things that was suggested by the Cleveland Clinic doctor was, he said, I really want to do ketamine. I want to do a 10-day ketamine in the hospital where I'm putting you totally out. And he said, I think that you have like a 30% chance of it working. Well,
Working in what sense? To cure
Well,
it?
that's what I'm
either
trying to
stopping
Okay.
stopping it where it is so it doesn't keep progressing, or slowing it down. And he said his main goal is to take the pain level down a notch or two. Now,
But how well did that work? Last time
what's
you did
that?
ketamine.
So you're right, it didn't work, but I only had one,
Right.
so he thinks it was done wrong.
Okay.
And he wants to do it in a hospital. However, insurance doesn't cover it, and it's approximately $100,000.
Oh my word.
And then monthly. So say it works. Say I'm not. Usually it's 50-50, but because I'm so far advanced now, mine's lower. So say it works for me, and I'm down 5 or below.
Right.
I mean, that's my dream.
Right.
5 or below. So say I get there. And then in 2 weeks, I'm back up to the 9, 10, and 11, 12, because there's no such thing as a 1 to 10 with this disease. Everybody will tell you we're off the charts. When we're in pain, we're in pain. I mean, there's days that I took a bad fall a couple weeks ago because my foot just gave out, and I was bruised really bad. But anyway, so say I then need maintenance. It could be 1 time a week in a hospital, again, $10,000 of treatment, up to 2 to 8 times a month. So that's another $80,000.
And this isn't probably, it's so rare that there's not trials going on anywhere where you could get into a trial or anything like that, right?
There are some trials, and I emailed one doctor trying to get in, but because I have a huge list of allergies, he said no. So I decided to go holistic, which is why I did the acupuncture. There's a mineral springs in Florida. We're going to do that. I want to do the Glenwood Springs. One person on my website, one of my group pages, is going to Italy for some controversial holistic stuff.
Yeah.
That was very interesting.
But they still don't even know if that will work.
There's the scrambler therapy, but so you have to commit to 10 sessions at $500 a session. I just don't know. I understand why people are getting frustrated and why people just want to give up, because it's a very expensive disease to have. It's very debilitating. And I'm a control freak, and to not be able to control my own body is really hard for me. I look at people walking and I almost want to cry, because I'm like, don't ever take that for granted. Yeah. Because I did. I never ever thought that I would not be able to walk. I never thought that this would happen to me. I never thought that I would not be able to play pickleball or tennis or have to stop running, because I was athletic. And now I have a wheelchair and a cane, and I can't get my foot into a shoe. Thank God I live in Florida.
I know, right? Seriously. I mean, this Ohio weather, I don't know what's wrong with these people that live here. But yes, God.
No, you mentioned that you have a physician that you're under his care, and he wanted to do this ketamine treatment. Is he considered the end all be all for CRPS, or is there someone else out there? Is there that one smoking gun doctor that knows everything there is to know about this that you can get in with, or what is that? Where does that road go?
So the Cleveland Clinic doctor was amazing. He's a pain management doctor, and he knows a lot about CRPS. He's convinced that the ketamine will work. And I looked at him and I said, how do people pay for this? He goes, honey, I don't know, but unfortunately the hospital wants their money before you even come in. If they know it's not going to be covered. So, I mean, that's just out of the question.
My word. Okay. So, oh my word. The cold does make it a little worse. So it's kind of hard for you being cold. Being in Florida definitely helps you. I feel that those are kind of symptoms that you can help, that we know, okay, if it's warmer, it's a little easier for you. So I do like knowing there's some progress in that. Sometimes the THC works. Okay, we got that. But all those treatments that are very expensive, I mean, there's got to be, like I said, I think we can keep looking for grants. If anybody else has information that's watching, please send it to us.
Oh, please.
Right. But I really believe that we can move forward and find something for you, because there's enough. We're working hard. Everyone on your team is working to try and find something for you. So this is a degenerative situation where it's kind of like you said, if they would have caught it sooner, it wouldn't have been as bad.
Right.
And what was their treatment in the beginning? Like, what would they have done? Let's tell everybody what happened.
So if they catch it at the very beginning, they can do ketamine. That usually works. Even like 1 or 2 doses in the office, which is like $1,800. That's how much it was in the office. Although this Cleveland Clinic doctor thinks that it should never have been done in an office setting, not with my allergies. He goes, do you see anything in this room that could save your life if we needed to save your life because of this drug? And I was like, oh, no.
There's no like emergency crate kit or...
Yeah. He's like, that's why I do it in the hospital. I only will do it in the hospital. The systematic nerve blocks are very helpful for people at the beginning stages. There's some medications that, unfortunately, like gabapentin and Lyrica, that really help at the beginning stages. I happen to be allergic to both of them. So, and they're great nerve medications for nerves, and I can't take them. So they're if it's caught at the very beginning, your chances of going into remission and staying in remission are pretty high, pretty significant. The longer you go without knowing that you have this disease, and the farther you get, the less likely your body's going to respond to any treatment. Which is why
we keep dealing with it. And now I have already known, even though I'm looking shocked, I actually do know this information. And I think that that's why it's most disturbing for me, because I watched Stevie go from just completely fine, other than being deaf, but just completely fine, doing normal stuff. We could operate, live our lives, do whatever we were doing. And then boom, now you have this crippling situation. Before we wrap things up and we move on, and I do want to talk about and throw this in there. We'll be giving you some information on the Joe Dispenza. I'm not saying it right. I just messed that up. Joe Dispenza. I'm not saying the name right. What Bobby and I spoke about last night.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it's a guy that talks about gratitude healing, and they took terminally ill people. It's a great video. If I find it before we post this, I'll clip that on the bottom so you can watch it. I follow him, and I've done some of his stuff. I love him and his views. He's a little off target. Like, he's not my favorite, but I do love him. His viewpoints are great. It's like Neville Goddard. You've heard his stuff. It's just really on point. And he talks about gratitude healing. They took terminally ill people, like 100 of them, and they said, we don't even need you to believe in this. We just want you to do it. And spend 15 minutes 3 times a day in gratitude healing. And literally all of them went into remission. Wow. Every last one of them. Yeah. And I guess the thing I think about that is so many people, and I know when we talk about it, I just recently found out within the last month or so, so I would have told you sooner, but my October was full of pain. So full of pain. October was painful. Oh my God, it really was. So I would have told you sooner, but it is really, really amazing. And the fact that people were being healed from cancer, like all sorts of diseases. And the reality is that it changed. They took their blood. They tested their blood throughout the entire process. And it was actually changing their blood cells. So it's really, really cool. We'll go into it more. We'll post that link for that video down below, but we'll talk about it afterwards, because I think what the hell? Try it, right? let's go for it. What else do you got going on?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Get the ketamine, do all of it, and just be grateful for 15
Exactly.
minutes. Yeah. But I really would find it wonderful to know that would be something that I'd love to see in 3 months, that it made a difference, in 6 months, in a year. And I feel there's so many things out there that are progressive. Like you talked about Colorado Springs. There's so many outside the box treatments for all of these rare diseases that are expensive and people just can't find a solution to their problem. So let's also look into spiritual stuff, which you and I have both discussed. We both
Absolutely.
we have very intense spiritual beliefs. So I think that's another reason we connect really well, is we do really believe in what God can do in our lives. And where that is and where the line is from religion, because we also both are not religious people at all, but we both, think Jesus is pretty cool. And but we've gotten out of the cultic version of that. Yeah. So I feel like, let's look at that. We'll go over it later, and we'll keep you guys posted on what happens. And there's a couple sites we're going to put on here for you, and we'll definitely come back. And I know that there's several serious, cases on your page, because I'm on your page.
Yeah.
I'm on the page, and I watch your videos on Instagram. And I really think that your videos can help people, because it's just your name, right? I mean, I don't even know your handle on Instagram. I just know you're Stevie.
Stevie Lee.
Yeah. Stevie Lee.
Yeah, Stevie Lee. Yeah, we'll put it down in the description.
Yeah, definitely watch her Instagram. She really keeps you kind of updated on what's going on. You can see it. And I really believe that the information that they're putting out on the CRPS page, everybody's got something that they've either tried, they're going to try.
Absolutely.
It's a good, knowledgeable page. And it's a Christian page. People are praying for each other.
Yeah.
So always, you can never turn down prayer. I think that's kind of a given. So we can go with that. But Stevie, again, thanks for spending today with us.
Thank you.
So, and I do hope to see you soon at my place.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be great. I know I really like that word, so it's just not going to stop. However, let's definitely agree to meet again and go back over it. Kyle, you have finished.
No, I don't. It's just, these rare diseases that we're bringing to the light and having our, people listen to and our followers listen to and get tuned into. If you know anything about these rare disease, that we've had another guest on before about her daughter's rare disease, there seems to be a little bit more numbers in that one. So there's probably a little more money and efforts put into that one, where this one is just so rare that it's just, is there a percentage on like how many people in the world have this CRPS?
I just know about 100,000 a year are diagnosed.
100,000 a year are diagnosed. Okay, out of a billion.
Wow,
that's not much.
No.
Yeah. So either way, it's just, thanks Stevie for sharing this information and getting it to our listeners. If the listeners have information about this and they don't know about the Facebook group or know about Stevie's Instagram page, please reach out to her if you know any things that have worked for you or people that you know with this rare disease. And of course, just know that Stevie is she's the OG elite few, right? Because she's the one that started this concept of interviewing for our podcast. So,
well, it really was. We were sitting at the bar and we had a kind of idea of where we were going and what we were doing. And Kyle's, this was really in the beginning. It really was. It was May. I mean, this is all went down in April of 2022.
Yes.
April will be 2 years. So it's been a year and a half and just over 18 months. And literally, my word, my story was still so raw when I met you. I was still not, we didn't even know so much stuff that we found out since then.
Absolutely.
Because that just got fun. The more traumatic, horrible things you find out as you go on, you're like, yay, something else. So that's kind of like where you're at with your disease. And so I met you, you were fine. Things keep moving on. And I feel like from the time we met you, we decided how we're going to do our podcast. We changed, the way we were addressing it, but we've been able to really meet some amazing people. I mean, I always meet amazing people, always.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do magnetize. I think I said this a million times that if I'm hung out with you, spend time with you, and it's because you have good energy. I do not do that. I do not waste my time. I won't put energy into somebody who I don't already know has good energy or that has potential and is going someplace. I just don't do it. And the reality is, meeting you guys was amazing, but it was at the beginning of all of it.
That's right.
We just just put it together.
Yeah.
And that moment, I was like, this is what we need to do. And it was such a given thing. It was like the interview we did with Sheila. When both of us knew at that moment, this was no longer about us. This was no longer about a dream we had. This was to help people, educate them on all of the areas that they need. There's so much they don't know, and to help change lives.
Yeah.
That was our goal. We're like, let's do it, because that's both of us want. So I'm very excited about where this can go, because you and I are unfolding it and watching you and Jeff unfold it. It's going to be fun. And Kyle definitely wants to see it get better. So, all right. Any more thoughts?
Nope.
We'll be back again. And everybody, I want you to get healed. I want you to stay happy. And I want you to stay fabulous, okay? This is Tiffany, and I will see you next time. Please join us.